Hi, and welcome back to Wildman Wheels. Last week, took a little break, was out elk hunting, and the Pug wasn't ready for the elk hunt. That's fine. It's always an elk hunt next year. So, we're going to go ahead and just dive right into this. We got the front transaxle is what we're going to be diving into. So, I'm not going to be splitting this. It works. Everything works. The differential's working properly. It's working. You can shift it in forward, shift it in reverse, shift it in low. It does all the things. It's working. It is leaking, however. And I believe it's leaking from here mainly and not so much from here. So what I do want to do is we're going to be cutting off this homemade bracket, which was just a bad idea by whoever was involved. Probably not, in all honesty. Whoever welded this on initially, it was probably fine. Somebody at a later point decided to rally the Pug. And they hit something so hard that they bent this 1/4-inch plate. Alrighty. Hobo Freight cutoff wheel. Hobo Freight grinder. Perfect. Just get a little tight right there at the end. Probably take the flapper wheel to them and just kind of, knock off the sharp edges. But for now, I think that's about as far as we're going to go with that. Let's see if we can't get these let's get these axle tubes. Let's get them yoinked. Let's yard them right out. Okay, so this is kind of where we're at with the axle. Let's walk around to this side. So I pulled all the nuts off here that's holding the axle tubes onto the transfer case body here. I can't get the axles out all the way. I can get them almost to the end of the studs here, but then they stop. And so I'm assuming there's some kind of locking mechanism inside of here and the differential things going on, which kind of sucks. I really don't want to separate the housing. I really don't. You can see right here, shift through the gears. I believe that's actually reverse. We got our low range, neutral, there's the high range. And as you can hear, it shifts through the gears, neutral, low, neutral, reverse. It shifts through all the gears nicely. So, and it appears to be working. So I really don't want to dig into this if I don't have to. I just want to try to remedy the leaks. So what I've decided that I'm going to do, and this is the other thing too, This is a temporary solution. I think I already said before in one of the last videos, we're not going to be running these axles, these Hexco axles, for very long on the Pug here, simply because they're garbage. They're just hot garbage. The differential or the carrier broke in this one, and then when I went to go pull the ring gear off to put it back together, 2 of the bolts just stripped out on the carrier, just no threads left. Along with other issues that we've had with that. This, it leaks. It's still working, so we're just gonna, fingers crossed, leave this for now. But I do want to get it to not leak, and I believe this is the side where all the leakage is coming from. This side looks quite a bit drier. It does have crusties, but it's dry crusties. These are wet crusties. So I'm going to just try to seal up these flanges with some anaerobic sealant. Clean, all of this. And then we'll paint it and put it back in. Also, the other thing is we're changing out this seal and this seal. And as the result of not being able to take the axle tubes out, I won't be able to put this into the press, which means we can try with the 3-jaw puller, but it's probably not going to work. We had very limited success with the 3-jaw puller, and it really needed to go into the press, the hydraulic press, in order to get this off. And that was kind of the number one main reason for taking this, try to take this off, seal these flanges here, but also get this guy off so we can change this seal. And the fact that we can't get this off without splitting the case, we might we replace 2 of the 3 and hope that one doesn't leak too much. But then, like I said, these are going to be temporary. Within a couple months, we're going to be getting all new transaxle, all new rear axle, different manufacturers, heavier duty, beefed up, much better. So if we can just get this to kind of hang in there for a little bit, maybe sell this off to somebody that's going to take the time and the effort to go ahead and split this, take it all apart, clean it, fix anything in here that needs to be fixed, and then at that point in time, they'll know, hey, we got 2 good seals, and then I just need to replace this one. And you know what? I'll say, here you go, feller. There's the seal for that side, if they decide. So let's get this cleaned up. There's some scuzz, and there's a little bit of oil residue in there, and the anaerobic sealant won't seal to that. So I'm just going to pull these back. We're going to clean them out the best we can, shoot some brake clean down in there, throw some anaerobic sealant, and then we're going to bolt these bad dudes back on. And then it's wire wheel time. We're just going to scour this thing down and try to make it look, as good as we did over here with the rear axle. Get it nice and clean, just down to the bare metal, so we can paint it and make it look good. And then you'll be able to tell if it's leaking, because you'll see black all over fresh paint. So I swung by the Ace on my way home. They had 1 can of brake clean, and they had 1 can of carb cleaner. So between the 2 of those, we ought to be able to make something happen. I did knock off the big chunkies that are kind of, in and around, but we also got a few chunkies down inside, and that's kind of what I'm hoping. We can just kind of blow that out, clean off the oil, get some anaerobic sealant down in there, and fingers crossed it doesn't leak too terribly. I think, in all honesty, so I will say on this side, this housing here, there was an actual gasket inside of there. On this side over here, there is no gasket. So that's evidence number 14 that it's leaking from this side, and probably wasn't from this side. So let's just get this oil residue off of all of this stuff in here. Give that a minute to dry. This, wow, this looks repaired. Or maybe not, yeah, that does look repaired. Like this axle broke, entirely, and somebody re-welded it, because look at this gusset here. It's cut off right here, and you can see like this gusset, you know, comes all the way down, comes all the way down. And I'm looking at this right in here. Also, I don't think that axle sits straight. That's interesting. This one sits nice and straight. So there's reason number 43, which this Pug is full of surprises. And I like I said before, something catastrophic happened to this Pug. I don't know if it got thrown off of a truck, if it got rolled down a hill, if what, I don't know. Something bad happened to this Pug at some point in time. Broke the axle. That's interesting. I just literally just now noticed that. I'm sure once we get in there with the wire wheel and start cleaning all this up, we'll probably see the evidence of that. And that may have been one of the reasons why the guy welded the two together. That may have been his jig. You know, had this axle, bent that up, got it as square and straight as possible, welded the two pieces kind of in place where they were supposed to be, then came in here and welded this back together. And I don't know. I honestly don't know. But something happened. It's really not preferred. It's obviously much more preferred to have your flanges separate, but I think this is going to work for now. Getting this Pug's Transaxle all cleaned up and ready to put in kind of reminds me of one of my favorite Bible verses, Matthew 10:16-20. Look, I am sending you out as sheep among wolves, so be shrewd as snakes and harmless as doves. But beware, for you will be handed over to the courts and will be flogged with whips in the synagogues. You will stand trial before governors and kings because you are my followers. But this will be your opportunity to tell the rulers and other unbelievers about me. When you are arrested, don't worry about how to respond or what to say. God will give you the right words at the right time. For it is not you who will be speaking, it will be the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. That's the weld. And if I'm looking at the actual axle tube, I can see how this axle tube is not, you know, these straight across, and this guy's got a little, and you can see the amount of weld that guy put in here. He didn't want it to break again. And see, and I don't know if this is just poor manufacturing. I kind of think it may be, because looking at the top here, let's flip her back over. I think I got this. Let me clean that up a little bit. The story is unfolding. This poor guy, whoever had this Pug before, I'm no longer suspecting trauma to the Pug. So you can see how thickly it's welded. Look at this. I've got it cleaned up fairly well. You can kind of get an idea of it. Let me clean this up right here. That casting broke. this actual cast steel or cast iron piece, it's got to be cast steel because this is welded to it. Even on the factory one over here, this entire chunk right here cracked and broke. Just now, I don't know why the guy didn't try to take that piece and either braze it or weld the two pieces back together. And then I don't know the story. I don't know what happened, but I do know Haxco axles strike again. They are piles of garbage. Okay, so here's a little bit more of a close-up. You can really see this entire section of this housing piece right here just broke clean out. Now, obviously, it could have been overloaded, but I kind of don't think so because this is the factory weld that goes around right here. I need to clean that up so you can see that a little better. But they welded this tube into this housing right here. And you can see the factory weld right here. But you see over here, there was no penetration into this piece. And so this thing probably leaked from the factory, probably just leaked like nobody's business. And then, you know, I don't know, but that just goes to show you, this Haxco, man, the metal, the steel, the iron, whatever they were using was the absolute cheapest, lowest quality metal they could get their hands on. So we're not going to get too crazy with this one. We're just going to clean her up, make her look pretty nice, paint it, and then right on to the machine she goes. If you have a Pug with the Haxco axles, for your outer wheel seals, SKF, I got these at Napa, it is a 11372. That is your part number. For your input-output shaft, basically if it's on the transaxle, it's the output shaft. If it's on the rear axle, it's the input shaft. This is the seal for that, and that is a 10114. SKF, which is funny because SKF actually purchased CR seals, which where the it fell down over there. The original seals that I found on here had a CR number on them, and so it was actually pretty easy. I was able to go online. I googled CR seals, and it came up with SKF, and I was able to literally just type in the old part number that was on the other seals, and it crossed over to these part numbers. I went down to Napa and I said, these are the seals that I need, ordered them up. They were pricey. They were like 20 bucks a piece, and there's 6 of them. So you do the math. Not cheap, but nonetheless, it is what it is. All right. Put a little schmoo on there just to help the lip seal slide on nicely. Get it into position. And then we'll be using our brass punch to just tappy tap. Okay, so I'm not getting too crazy with it. These seals, because there isn't an actual shoulder on the inside where it goes until it stops. Even on this guy up here, there's no shoulder. The shoulder would be where you have the diameter of where the seal is going to be, and then it's going to change diameter abruptly into a smaller diameter. And so it's a place where you'll hammer the seal in, and it'll physically stop the seal at that location. We don't have that on these, so I'm just hammering them in until they are flush with the outside end of the flange, the housing, the axle housing here. Okay, so she's sealed, signed, sealed, and not quite delivered yet, but perfect. I'm not going to be hammering on that. Let's take our castellated nut here. Okay, so this does have what's called a castellated nut. And the reason why it's called a castellated nut is because, well, it looks like a castle. So on these shafts here, let me spin her around. You can't see it, but there's a hole that's going right through the middle of it. So how you put these on, you run them down, you get them tight, and then once they're tight, then you continue to tighten it. You don't got to get hogtastic with the tightening of it, but you continue to tighten it down until you can get it to move over into a new hole. So then you can then put a cotter pin through it, and that's how it's locked on there. That's your safety. Okay, so now I see that it's tight. I can't see the hole, so we're just going to tighten it a little more. A little more. A little more. Oh, we're very close. I can see the entire hole through that, so that's good. She's locked down, and all we got to do is just put a cotter pin in, and she's good to go. First, let's do a quick, and then just paint. Yeah, it's like this. Just the big chunks. Just the big chunks. That's all we're going for at this point. Alrighty then. So, engine crane, which is too tall, it's not going to fit underneath, so we're probably going to get a little dangle action going on. But I do have a 497 foot long strap, so that'll just make the job easier. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to double her up, something about like so, which shouldn't be too awfully difficult because we're going to be using some D-rings to make that happen. So we got our links here. We'll go ahead and put that guy on. We can just finger tight. You don't got to get crazy with them. You don't need to run them home with the impact. You just need to be finger tight. That'd be fine. Okay. So we got this guy here. Try to not have twists in your rigging, general rule of thumb. Okay, and then when you go to put your D-rings in, this shop is just a mess. It's driving me up the wall. We're gonna have to. I've been pushing so hard on the Pug here, just trying to go. I haven't had a chance to just basic housekeeping, which is terrible. But trust me, I can't wait for the day. I might even go a whole week without making a video, and then you'll just know it's me cleaning the shop because this is driving me up the wall. Okay, what is this strap rated for? Let's see what we got here. Warning to use. Oh, okay, here we go. Do not exceed capacities. Vertical, 3,280 pounds. Choker, 2,640. Basket, 6,500 pounds. Well, we've got a double basket, so that makes it 13,000 pounds. I don't know if this strap's going to be enough. We might. We're gonna be pushing. We're gonna be pushing what limits of this strap. We got her made in the shade. Okay. We have too much webbing going through, so our safety is not safety. That's fine. We don't need safety. Okay. So this is as close as I can get it because the workbench is too low to the ground. That's fine. We got her stuck all the way out. It is what it is. So we're gonna do the next best thing, and we're gonna careful. Probably watch this thing. You know what? I might be able to, with great effort, actually. Yep, let's reposition. Safety third. Okay, we cleaned off this side of the workbench here. I think we're gonna try. We're gonna try something. The workbench might be too narrow or too shallow, but it might be narrow enough. I don't know. Let's give it a shot. See what happens. Can we? Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. All right, so now let's just slide this dude down. About like so. We can make this work, maybe. Oh yeah, it's light. It's holding the vast majority of the weight of this. Now, because of where I'm picking it from and the geometries of this, it's going to be sitting upside down, which is fine. There she goes. We now officially have the transaxle. Now, let's lower this down, get our center of gravities down a little. Although I do kind of like that height, to be honest with you. This side right here's never been touched, so she's a little crusty. So I will hit this real quick with the wire wheel right here. Let's get that little chunk. Just the big chunky stuff off. She's hanging upside down and spilling her guts. Do a quick blow dry. The case itself just really doesn't look half bad. Just kind of everything else around it. It's just falling apart. All right, let's get to painting. Example number 47, just putting a coat of paint on it makes it look a lot better. I don't know if you noticed this, but right now, paint's not even dry yet, but we just rebuilt it top to bottom. All right, that's going to do it for tonight. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out with me while I got this transaxle all sealed up and cleaned up and painted, making it look good. She's ready to go in. We're ready to just put her right in there. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss a single episode of getting this thing back on the road. We are very, very close to taking this thing out, testing on it, and I can't wait. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful Saturday evening.